guys, good to see you again. Today we're going to continue our exploration of line. So we're going to do another project all about line. So I hope you remember, but line is when you take any tool and you make a mark. So back here is our example of what we're going to be doing. You're going to be using all sorts of types of line. So I know you listened to the song and you learned all about straight lines. You learned about curvy lines. You learned about vertical lines and horizontal lines. And there's so many types of lines that you can use. So we're going to use them all in this project. What I want you to pay attention is, I want you to pay attention to how the lines might make you feel. So when you're using a curvy line, what does that feel like? And when you're using a straight line, what does that feel like? What about a diagonal line? What does that feel like? And that's what we're going to be talking about as we do our project today. In this project, I'm going to challenge you to use as many types of lines as you can. We want your project to be super interesting. So the more types of lines and the more thick lines and thin lines and lines right in between, all different types of lines that you can make, the better. Now, do I color in my lines? No, because then you're not making a line. Then you're making a whole shape. You're coloring it in. Right now, we're just going to be making lines. Do I draw a picture? No, not right now. Right now, we're actually just making lines, and it's more like, let's see where it goes. Okay, so I'm going to start us off. You're going to make lines, but you're not going to make the same lines that I'm making. Okay, because you're making your art, and I'm making my art. If you make my art, then that's like no fun at all. So I want you making your art, but you can follow along with the types of lines. So if I make a diagonal line, you don't have to make it the same way, but make a diagonal line. So we're going to go over all this in our project. All right, artists. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with different types of lines. So I'm going to choose a line to start with. You don't even have to choose the same type of line, but what I want you to try to do is get all the different types of lines that we talked about and we danced about and we sang about in your artwork. Okay, so I'll start with a curvy line. And so this can go anywhere. Your curvy line obviously did not have to go where mine is. Let's see, another type of line I really liked. I really like that spiral line. I'm going to throw one of those in there. Let's see. I'll do another one. So this is something we don't really have to think about too much as we go. We're just going to add our lines in. I usually go for a lot of those curvy lines. So what I have to remember to do is to add in the other types. And you guys were experts when we were singing and dancing, so you remember we're going to need some of those jagged lines, right? I like to balance it, so if I put a jagged line here, I might think about doing a jagged line on the other side of my paper. Let's see. I don't have any straight lines yet, so I'm going to need some of those. I'm going to think about maybe coming off of here with some straight lines that are coming away from the middle. Another type of line that's fun is dotted lines. So I'm going to put those in here. I'm kind of following that line that I had already made, so I'm going to add that in. Let's see, if I want to balance my paper, that means it's very heavy over here because I have a lot of lines, but nothing really over here. That means I'm going to balance it by adding some more lines on the other side. Sort of like making it match. Like if you only have a shoe on one foot and not on the other foot, well, your balance might be off, you know, because you don't have shoes on both feet. So if you don't have lines on both sides of your paper, it's going to feel a little visually heavy on one side. It's going to look a little heavy. So we want to balance it. So let's see, what other types of lines do we need to add? So we have curvy. we have diagonal zigzags, we have straight lines, spiral, we have a dotted. My favorite part of that song is when they do the fancy lines. So let's add some fancy lines. And these, you know, you can do these any way you want. My fancy lines have a little spiral within the fancy. Okay, so I'm going to balance this. I'm going to do a similar thing on this side. I'm going to add some fancy lines. That's fun. Okay, and then maybe some curvy lines coming through here. Curvy lines coming through here. I'm going to throw another zigzag in. Okay, and what's happening is I'm creating within here all these little spaces that I can add color to in a little bit. Another type of line that we did talk about is rectangular. So this one kind of reminds me of like buildings or teeth, maybe on like a jack-o'-lantern. So I'm going to add some of those in too. Those are fun. But if I'm going to add it on this side of my paper, I want to see if there's a spot on this side that I might be able to throw some of that in. Okay, so I'll put one right over here. And it didn't even go to all the way to the end, and that's fine. You do it the way you want to do it. All right, I'm going to create some small spirals, maybe throughout my drawing. Spiral lines. And you fill your paper the way you want to. You can leave more white space, that's okay. Or you could fill it up and fill it all with lines. This is going to be your space to create. Okay, so that's your first step with this project, is exploring all those lines that we explored through music and using our bodies to dance. Now we're going to create our artwork with them. So have fun creating your line. And you know what time it is now, boys and girls. It's time to add color. All right, so color time. Now remember, your artwork is not going to look just like mine. I have 3 different ones, and they all have a bit of uniqueness to them. I'm going to choose one to color to show you how to do the coloring part, but just a reminder, we're all making our own different artwork, all about ourselves. If yours looked just like mine, remember, then it'd be about me, not about you. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to add my color to this. And just like any of our projects, I want you to use color to express your emotions. So think about your colors when you choose them. Are they making you excited? Are they calming colors? Are you feeling angry and you use some colors that show that? So use your colors to show your emotions throughout your drawings, just like you did with your different types of line. I used a lot of warm colors so far. So next step for me, I'm going to move into some cool colors. But you may have been using all the colors, and that is just fine. But all these colors, don't they remind you of a big warm sunset? That's kind of how you can remember those. They're warm like a sunset. Now it's time for me to use some cool colors. So these colors might remind you of green grass or cool ocean water. Here we go. art with you again next time.